Hey, what's up? I'm Chilli.
And I'm T-Boz, and we're TLC.
And this is The
Aftermath.
It's Billy! It's Billy! Billy!
You guys, you
Billy.
can't fake this. You can't fake this. Hey, that's the first time I've ever been introduced during one of my interviews, and what an honor. If I could be introduced by anyone to have it be these ladies, TLC. I had to tell just everyone really quick on camera. I don't have that much time, but when I was getting started as a music journalist, okay, thank you, please. So I didn't even know what the publicity department was called at a record company. So I got the record, and I just looked on the back. It said LaFace, and it was in Atlanta. I just called 411 in Atlanta and said, can I have the number to LaFace Records? And I said, I work at this newspaper. Can I have the department that sets up interviews? And I just really wanted to meet TLC so I can write about you guys. So yeah, it's an honor. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And so the movie, CrazySexyCool, the TLC Story, it's about to debut. I had a chance to see an early version of it. Incredible.
So what did you think?
There's all kind of stuff in the movie. I really love the story because as a fan, and a lot of, you guys have so much press, you feel like you know all the stories, but it was really good to see the behind the scenes.
Yes.
And so it was sort of like a behind the music, reenactment, like one of those TV shows where they reenact all the scenes, and I thought all the actresses did well. There are moments with Little Mama where, I had to like do a double take, because
it was uncanny, right? It was crazy.
She got into the zone, and Kiki and they all, Drew, they all did good. So I guess my first question is, because you tell so many stories in the movie, I mean, some really personal stuff. But like, how hard was it for you guys to decide like that you wanted to open up and like be,
It wasn't hard at all.
It wasn't hard at all.
We've always been an open book, TLC. Maybe Lisa was a little bit more open than Tion and I ever wanted to be, but we just keep things real, and I think that's one of the things that our fans love so much about us is that it's nothing fake about TLC.
How did you determine which actresses you wanted to portray you guys? Because I understand at first you were thinking of not having established actresses, and then I know that there was a change. So, like, at what moment with each of the actresses did you know, like, absolutely we want her?
We thought it was going to be harder to find Lisa, but actually that was the easiest. Little Mama nailed it so good. It was ridiculous. And her real eyes are like hazel, and she came in with these black big contacts like Lisa's real eyes. They were beautiful, and she was dressed in character, and she had it down so packed. It was crazy. She was like, that's it, no questions about it, hands down. We didn't have to look no further.
That's right. So something actually I found, ironically, like a year ago I interviewed Pebbles, but
how did that go?
I asked her, it went fine. It went fine, but it went well, actually. But one of the things I didn't know about until I talked to her, and that you guys deal with in the movie, is that there was another member in TLC first. There's this other girl.
The girl Crystal.
Named Crystal. And so you guys tell that story of how she was a part of it and it didn't work out and this, that, and other. And so have you guys talked to her at all since then? And, what is that like?
Yes, I have. And actually, Lisa and I got in Crystal's group, and then Pebbles didn't like Crystal, so we had to kick her out of her own group. But the thing is Crystal, there's no hard feelings. Last time I seen her was probably like 4 years ago. She gave me a hug. She came to my book signing. And I mean, it is just what it is.
And I know her as well. We went to elementary school together.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. That's crazy, isn't it?
That is real crazy. And I saw her recently also, and so I think she's very happy for us.
Genuinely.
One of the things too in the movie I didn't know, I always knew you guys were phenomenal dancers, and when I'm measuring entertainers as performers, I'm always paying attention to, okay, what do they sing like, what do they perform like, and I'm like, how do they dance that well? So it was funny when I saw the movie. I mean, I knew that you were like dancing for Damian Dame before, but I didn't know that you when you get in a group, you're just like, oh, I want to be a dancer. You weren't even thinking about singing. So that's kind of crazy. Like, did you not grow up singing, or are you just like dancing more, or what?
I grew up dancing in the streets, and then, Divine, actually, he was the one that said, what a real choreographer is? And I said, no. He said, it's not a person that copies a dance and teaches it to others. It's a person who creates dances and makes the world do them. So I said, well, that's what I'm going to be. So then I would make up certain I made up a couple, routines in TLC, and they took off. So I just loved to dance, and it was in my heart and my soul.
Yeah, and so when the opportunity came up for you to sing in the group, was that like, okay, sure, I do that too, no big deal, or what?
No, I started off a singer and dancer, really, but it's just dancing was my thing. It's just, I loved it. But I grew up singing in church first, but the whole scruffy, deep singing thing came actually singing demos for Crisscross for Jermaine Dupri, and he's the one that's like, you should make that your thing. And I was like, you think? And so it just kind of took off.
I don't think I ever heard that. So singing demos for Crisscross, like
yeah, I did.
Which any of the songs that
They, it's the ones that they got their deal from.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they came out. I can't remember exactly which ones they were, but it was to get their deal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Before anyone knew who TLC was, people probably had to do like me, like go back and look at an old video. So I was looking at this video of Pebbles' backyard.
Oh my God. Okay. Yes.
And so like she's walking into this club, and there's these two girls with her. And they're not just in the video, like they have a commanding presence. I mean, if I remember correctly, I think T-Boz like pushes her out the way. She's talking to some guy. Well, my question is, I mean, I'm assuming that was before Chilli was in the group.
Yes,
yes it was.
But at that moment, were you feeling like, oh my gosh, we're in this music video? Like, did you feel like that, like that was...
What? I remember coming home telling my mom, like, Mom, I feel it. She was like, what you talking about? I was like, I'm about to blow up. I just feel it. I'm about to be on TV. And it's like 2 weeks later, the whole thing happened with Pebbles. I was at the salon, and I told our hairstylist, Maria, I was like, tell her we in a group, tell them the bomb, holler at me. She called that night. I know, holler at me. She really called my house that night. I'm like, no way. But when we got... the offer to be in the video, me and Lisa were all over the place. We was just so happy dancing across the stage. And then I hate my hair. It's like this. It ended up turning into sideburns for TLC, but it was this big piece of hair. It just slapped on my face. So I hate watching that video, but I was happy to be on BET. Yes.
In the movie also it showed, because I think a lot of artists, I think more so in terms of hip hop, there's so much freestyle rap, which I like, but it feels like sometimes rough drafts, are kind of put out there. I go like, okay, I like the concept. Maybe if you did it like about 20 more times or something, it'd be super good. But you guys were practicing like crazy, and in the movie it shows how, you'd be tired, you'd be hungry, and like you would have to keep going. And so when you think back, like Chilli, like do you feel like that was necessary? Do you feel it was a little bit too much, or?
No, I feel like it was absolutely necessary. I mean, that's called artist development, which unfortunately you don't have that anymore. I mean, probably wanted to eat a little bit more. You know what I mean? That would have been
Especially
good.
my baby loves to eat, honey. She gets mean when she don't eat, honey.
But, it really helped us better as far as knowing how to interact with each other when she's singing, how we move around, and when I'm singing, and just that whole thing, learning how to work the stage. Yeah. I mean, Pebbles brought a lot of good stuff,
she did.
To us, for us, and
they helped
it wasn't, exactly, and we'll always be appreciative, to her for that.
And we do want to say there's no hard feelings. Like, we appreciate her for that. It's just sometimes
we just told everything that happened, that
right.
it went down,
the way it happened.
Was some bad. It just
and it was from our perspective, no one else's.
So let me ask you this too, because you hear a whole lot of artists have this same story, like I got my first deal, it was a bad contract, and this, that, and other.
Yeah.
And then the artists, they tell it as a story, like, well, if you can avoid that situation, but because it's so hard to make it,
it's very hard to,
and it's hard to get an opportunity, and like you got kicked out of the group before you even started. So do you feel like there was an opportunity, like if you would have spoke up about the contract, you would still have been in TLC, or is that just something you just had to deal with as a new artist and do what you did, like work it out on the backside, or what?
You mean like as far as
getting a bad contract?
Right.
I mean, like
if we
when you have
spoke
that
up
kind
about
of
it too soon.
No.
If we had spoken, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I think that because we talked about this before, I feel like it's a possibility that we may not have been, able. She may have found another girl group. I don't know if they would have been, this TLC and successful as we have been. But I mean, who knows? But at that time, I think it's like, this is our dream, because you just want to pursue your dream.
Right. And
if this is an opportunity and it was presenting itself, I mean, it was Pebbles, for God's sakes,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And Babyface in LA, it's like, that's a big deal.
Right.
So, but the thing I think that got us was that we were so caught up in too much stuff. It was like, manager, kind of like on her label, on Pebbletone. You know what I'm saying? Then it was like a lot of dipping in the same.
Double dipping.
Yes, a lot of dipping everywhere. That's the part that wasn't cool. Yeah.
Conflict of interest.
Because we don't think that, if you go out and work very hard, then everybody should, be compensated for that. But there is a line, too. You just don't dip it everywhere.
You want to share in the glory, but not keep it all to yourself.
Yeah.
Well, so another thing, too, just the image of you guys. And the first song, Ain't Too Proud to Beg. It was definitely one of those songs that I think is connected with everyone. But, pretty racy lyrics,
Oh, yeah.
I was just re-singing part of Lisa's lyrics. 2 inches.
2 inches or y'all rock harder if it's sagging. I ain't too proud to beg.
No.
So, who came up with that?
No, that was Lisa.
It was a real story.
She was writing her stuff. So and that's
her
what she
and her
came up with.
boyfriend broke the waterbed. Remember that story? We're not gonna say his name.
Yeah, we won't say his name.
But she broke the waterbed, and that was her real story.
So tell me this, because in the movie it showed Pebbles saying, "Okay, I think you guys should wear heels," and you're like, "No." So were they surprised? They knew they wanted these girls with the edge, but were they surprised that there was that type of lyric, that kind of concept for a song? Did they think this might be too much, or?
No, I think they were supportive of that,
especially LA.
Yeah, he loved it. He loved the fact that we were girls and stood up and edgy, and we didn't take no for an answer. Remember the show In Living Color? Yeah. And they thought we looked too young, but we were grown.
Yeah,
and they didn't. Yeah, and they didn't want us to wear condoms because they thought we were kids. And we decided, well, we won't come on your show. And they supported every decision. They was like, you know what, we stand beside y'all.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so this is part 1 of my sit down with TLC. We're going to keep it going. We'll be back with part 2 in a second. Yahoo!